Robinsive. Hello all, welcome to Robinsive Training. It's a continued video for the course Advanced Network Exploitation Expert. Myself, Rikun Sindwad, and I will be your instructor for this entire journey. I hold over 5 years of experience in cybersecurity. I'm a red teamer at work. I also do security researcher and hold multiple CVs. Couple of articles are published over Pen Test Magazine, OSCP, OSW, and OSCP certified from Offensive Security. The course Advanced Network Exploitation Expert helps you to build core knowledge against network security and penetration testing. It is designed for everyone with the basic understanding for the cybersecurity domain, like basic networking and the basic pen testing things. An example would be anyone with the knowledge of CEH. Post completion of the course, you will able to gain core concept understanding over various topics, perform internal or external penetration testing, perform extensive network assessment, find security misconfiguration within Active Directory environment, able to do privilege escalation over Windows and Linux machines, write automation scripts, and many more to go. Please read the description before moving ahead with the course content. We are continuing our Web4Shell topic and we have already started our SQL injection chapter. And in the SQL injection, we have already done few of the concepts. Like we know that there is a database server that does contain different databases with different names. Also, it has a tables in it, and those tables will gonna have rows and columns. How we can connect to MySQL specific database server through MySQL client. That is something we have already seen in the last session. So if you haven't looked or if you haven't go through the last video, I would recommend to go and start with that. It won't be good and ideal for uh, the learning objective to be started from this current point. So if you are watching it for the first time, then I would recommend to start from the previous video that I have uploaded as a part 1 of SQL injection to shell. So in the next here, then we started listing available databases with the show database and similar command. Then we also listed some tables by just typing show tables. How we can retrieve rows and columns with some conditions like select star from XYZ, where a particular column value is whatever you specify. So it's a kind of conditioning that you are applying for retrieving some sort of data. Also, we have seen some logical operators like and or that will be used or that can be used in order to validate few of the things. So apart from that, there are some more learning objectives that I have planned for you, and that what we will going to learn. So again, we will not going to focus on SQL injection. Instead, we will go through some of the SQL concepts that you should aware before moving or digging into a particular SQL injection vulnerability. Because if you know the root or core, then exploitation would be just a cake pie. So that's being said, let's just move towards our next learning objective. Part of next learning objectives, we will going to go through some of the examples or source code example. Those are not identical what you will find in the real world, but those will gonna be a perfect choice for whatever the learning objective is. So this is the very first query that you'll find from the link here, gitbook.robensive.in. If I have migrated to something else in the future, and if you are watching after some years, then just check out the latest link that is available. But I'll try to keep it as gitbook.robensive. That being said, let's just try to understand this particular query. It's not that difficult. It will just going to have some sort of English characters. There is an error with the copy and paste. Let me remove those comments. Those are not really necessary for our learning. So yeah, what it says insert. Based on English word, insert means we are inserting something into something. Right? We are putting our own values. So it says insert into I want to insert into a particular table, and the table name here is mentioned as the user. And what I want that user table to be inserted as a first name, last name, email, and password. There might be more fields in this particular users table, but the only thing that I want to be added here is first name, last name, email, and password. And the values are as shown here. It's Rekun for the first name, Sindwar is for the last name, email would be rubensiv@rubensiv.in, password would be any hashed value. So consider that when you register any of the into any of the website, and that website is using MySQL or any SQL based any SQL based database server. And in that case, this would be the ideal approach in order to register yourself. So what it is gonna do, you will provide your username, your password, your first name, last name, and maybe mobile number, and so on and so forth. And that application or web application written, let's say in PHP, or it can written in ASP or anything, will gonna have a predefined query as here. And whenever you specify your first name, there will be a dynamic input value here. So it will automatically replace with whatever you supplied. So let's say you supplied your first name as XYZ, then it will automatically reflected here. This is how commonly any of the SQL statements are built on. They just predefine it, and it allows us to specify whatever the user input is, right? So this stage is something for the register. Let's try to understand some more. This as simple as that, how it insert a value, right? Let's take another example from here. Let me remove those comments. It's not really required for our learning. Okay, perfect. Now this is something for the login form. Whenever you authenticate to any web application, let's say Facebook or Google or anywhere, right? If they are using in the backend, if they are using something like SQL databases, then the backend query was written something else. This, right? It will gonna be something saying that select user ID, whatever the user has its ID, or it can also have some different values. Like if user ID is not being used for creating your session token, if there is something else, then it will gonna fetch that particular data through which they will gonna create cookie for you. Right? This is just an ideal approach, and there is no relation with the real world scenarios. There might be some more changes, but this would be ideal for learning. So remember this. So select user ID from users where email equals to robensiv@robensiv.in, whatever you specify, and password is equals to whatever you supply here. So let's say there is AND operator. Based on AND operator, the first value should be true as well as the second value must be. So if I provide false email address, this query will return no user ID. And if no user ID, I won't be authenticated. And I might get an error, hey, you have entered wrong user password or password like that, right? So if I don't specify the right password, it will be identical to that. So yeah, this is just a common approach. And that user ID can be used for the cookie making process, and that cookie generation is all depends on the particular web application. It all depends how it wants user to be authenticated, right? This is just a general. So apart from the login, there are some more example that I want to highlight here. So this is another one, and this is for the profile. Let me just add it profile. So let's say you registered to a particular web application, you logged into particular web application using this query, and once you log in, you will gonna see the profile page, right? And in that profile page, you might automatically see your username, your first name, last name, and some other information like mobile number, address, or it may have more values. So, but this is just for a simple purpose. Now here, how that profile will gonna look. So it will gonna select first name and last name, whatever the column values it wants. From users, users are again, users is a particular table where the ID what is retrieved from this particular query. Once you log in, it will gonna retrieve a particular ID, and based on that ID, it may find a particular user. So let's say ID equals to 1. Then it will going to show you whatever the data of that particular user is. And the specific data, if I be specific, it will gonna be first name and the last name. So yeah, this would be another ideal approach for getting all your details and how it may use in the real world scenario. But it won't be 100% identical, keep in mind. If you are approaching or creating a web application in this way, this would be a victim of multiple vulnerabilities. So remember. Apart from that, there are some more. So this is another ideal approach that I always showcase here that says select blog data from pages where author equals to whatever the author name. So you might have seen some of the blog websites, right? Blog where based on the author name you get all the blogs from that particular author. And in that case, how website could manage those dynamically? How author can add new blogs on top of any existing one or add some more. So they might have something a similar kind of backend code. Right? So this particular says that select blog data. There must be a column named as a blog data from pages. Pages here is a particular table. Remember, from pages. So there is a pages name table in which there is a column named blog data, and there is another column named author. It will gonna filter out wherever the author name is whatever I supply. So let's say author as Robensu. It will gonna give whatever is for the particular user Robensu. Whatever the blog data it will gonna have, and the page will gonna automatically synchronize here. Similarly, if I just choose the next one, select page content from pages where page number equals to 1. So somewhere you might find this page number scroll like first page, second page, third page. And that can also be retrieved dynamically from the database. So if there are, let's say, 10 pages, then how this particular website will gonna identify the content that will gonna be fitted to a particular page, and how you can automatic or you can select those numbers like page 1, page 2, page 3. In the back end, it would be something like similar to this, where you supply your page number 1, 2, 3, or whatever you wish to, and that page number will gonna be sent to the server, and server will gonna execute something similar query. And the query is as simple as selecting a page content that is a column name from a pages that is a table where page number is equals to 1. And remember, when you supply numbers, it does not really require any apostrophes. However, if you choose to specify this in a apostrophe, then it will not gonna be considered as an integer, as an integer, right? So remember this basic things, and that is what all I have planned for this particular video. And it's pretty much basic. Whenever you register, this would be an ideal approach where in the back end your database will gonna be interacted from your web application, and for the login this would be another ideal approach. For profile it will gonna be another ideal approach, and for dynamic pages and dynamic blogs this would be the identical approach. So that's being said, I would like to end this video here. And in the next session, we will going to dig into SQL injection and the basics. So that's it, and that's all. If you have any suggestion, improvements, anything in your mind, then feel free to comment below. That's it. That's all. See you next time.